interested in sea level change. I like to measure sea level change, how the level of the ocean has changed over thousands of years since the last ice age, and the response of shorelines and their inhabitants to those changes in sea level. I generally go out on boats or I work close to shore and study changes in the level of the ocean by looking at records that past locations of the ocean have left behind in layers in sediment beneath or very near the surface of the seabed. And we use geophysical equipment to image the bottom, to drill holes in the bottom, to do various things in the ocean. Some projects are on land, on the shoreline, studying landslides on the coast or beach erosion or something of that sort. But so it's a mix of things, really, from offshore to on the edge of the coast.
We're here in the Shetland Islands. This is Quendale Beach. It's Fitful Head in the distance, about 500-foot high vertical cliff on the other side of that. There's a lot of history here in the Shetland Islands. This is the mill across the way here. It's abandoned now, but was active in the Middle Ages. And there were communities here, farms. Now you see vast sand dune fields because in the 1600s, sand just covered this area. It was called an Arabia, and it buried the houses in the sand dunes. And they're out there today. We've been using a ground-penetrating radar to find those houses, to look through the sand, and optically stimulated luminescence to date when the sand was deposited and buried. The concern here is that perhaps someday in the future this could happen again. We've even found some suggestions that this has happened repeatedly, going back thousands of years into the past.
I'm from Maine. I grew up in Portland, Maine. I lived on the ocean. I taught at the University of New Orleans. I worked on the New Jersey shore for my dissertation. So I've seen coastlines that were really nice, Maine, and really not nice, New Jersey, that were grossly overdeveloped and hopelessly overdeveloped in Louisiana with land sinking radically. So I've been drawn into understanding at a deeper level what was familiar to me since childhood. I've come to understand that sea level changes rapidly in areas following glaciation. Here in the state of Maine and work we're doing in Ireland and in the northern UK, it's been very similar. That was a bit surprising to us. I was asked to chair a committee and then develop a law governing development on Maine's coastline and on beaches in particular. And so I took what I understood about how beaches change and sea level rises, and we translated it into a law that has been imitated by 6 other states up to now. The ocean level is rising. More than 50% of the American population lives within a few miles of the coast. The value of that coastal property is trillions and trillions of dollars, and yet it's certainly at risk. Understanding past changes in sea level, the response of shorelines to those changes, central to helping us down the road here. I think it's very hard for the public to understand how something as esoteric as some of the research we do translates to something meaningful to them. But as scientists, you develop a hypothesis, and if it doesn't work everywhere, then maybe there's something wrong with it. And so one has to go out and take ideas and test them and ascertain that in fact they are working properly. And so a lot of the things we take for granted in our lives, our understanding of the changes in the level of the ocean, come from a pretty thorough understanding of this all over the world, not just on the coast of Maine. It's a lifestyle. I mean, I like solving problems and posing them and studying nature, and I don't suppose we'll ever be done. One project leads to a next. I mean, you come to understand something, maybe the answer was not what you expected. You need to go back and look at it more, or it opens up whole other questions. I've never found fewer questions as I've gone along in my work. I have found more questions.